Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Tom Arch here, and we are back with another episode of Addicks Weekly. I said this will be a thing every Monday. As you can see, we are joined by Cameron, and we are outside the Valley. Obviously, this week the men have not played, so we are still doing one, but on the women's team. And I thought, who better to get on than someone who has gone up and down the country, literally. With me. Last season we only missed 3 league games, which is absolute madness. But yeah, today we are here to talk about Charlton against Sheffield United. Obviously, it was an interesting game. In terms of lineup, obviously it was a bit of a change in at the back. Obviously, Kira Skills coming out for Mia Ross, who obviously Kira picked up an injury against our team last week. I completely forgot Sunderland. So that is not ideal. Obviously, we haven't got a update just yet. But yeah, how are you feeling apart the game so far?
Look, I mean, we played well. It's hard not to fall into the habit of calling us second half FC again, but I mean the stats tell you that we literally were second half FC. Many more shots on target. You know, the possession was better, the play was better. First half wasn't all that great. I mean, for anyone watching or on YouTube, you probably hear the groans from the crowd every time we gave the ball away, and that was probably about once every 15 seconds. We just couldn't string passes together, or the final ball just wasn't quite right. Second half, we definitely came out better. I don't know what was said, but we definitely came out better and we kept hold of the ball. And it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, we ended, 1-0?
1-0, yeah.
And you take the points where you can, I suppose.
Yeah, and that obviously extends our unbeaten run in the league to, I think, 17 league games without a loss. I think that's since November last year, which is an absolute insane stat. We are obviously currently top of the table. Birmingham are next, but obviously we'll get into that later on. In terms of performances, I think I'd say for me, 4 were outstanding today. I thought Sophie Whitehouse in goal again was absolutely immense. The save she made in the second half. Obviously Mia gave the ball away for a chance, and then she's claimed it while diving, which is absolutely insane. Jodie Hutton, I thought, had her best game so far this season. I thought she absolutely ran the show down that left side. She scored an absolute screamer, which we'll get into in a bit. But yeah, the first half, from what I read, that there was two shots from us. I think they had about two or three as well, but we had none on target at all. I'm not sure what Karen said to the girls at half time, but as Cameron said, they came out absolutely flying. And obviously the free kick was an absolute screamer. Again, sorry for the background noise. It is after the game, so they are tidying away, I suppose. But yeah, it has been an interesting one, to say the least. Should we have deserved the points? Yes, we probably deserved the 3 points purely because of our second half performance. Brilliant. This is what I get for filming after a game. But no, we had 9 shots, I think, in the second half. I think we had 5 on target or something like that. I'm not too sure. But we played a lot better, a lot more fluent, I'd say. And obviously, yeah. So, in terms of performance for you, who did you think stood out?
I think, just quickly as a side note, I think Karen actually made early substitutions this time, which doesn't normally do, and I think that was actually quite important to seeing out the second half of the way we did. But as for performances, as you said, Sophie and Jodie were brilliant today. Sophie, again, when she's needed, she's there with the big save, and it was really clean as well. Like, she didn't palm it away, she caught him, like, you know, produce an attack from it. And then obviously Jodie just doing Jodie things. You know, she wanted the ball, she wanted to fight for it, and scored a great free kick, as we'll mention probably later. I also felt that every sub that came on did what they were needing to do. Emma Bizzle, Gillian and Lou, when they all got on the pitch, and obviously Karen as well, when they got on, they did exactly what they was asked to do. You got Emma and Jill just running at defence and putting pressure on. Emma carrying the ball from her own half straight up to the other end and just really pushing for attacks and keeping hold of the ball. Karen's ball control was brilliant.
Yeah, 100%.
And she kept hold of the ball. She won us fouls, pushing us closer up the pitch. And Lucia was solid at the back. You can't really ask for much more from your subs, to be quite honest. I also do feel that Kira Flannery had a really good game.
Yes, she's been immense.
She turns really, really well on the ball. She can pick out a pass, and I think we spoke to, I'm going to assume it was her dad, after the game, and when she gets her confidence going, which I think she's nearly there after a run of games, she's going to be a really, really big player for us.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I was going to go on to that. Obviously, she's come in from West Ham on loan for the season. West Ham, name your price. We will pay whatever it takes, because she has been an absolute revelation so far this season. Her ball control is one of the best I've seen at this club in a very, very long time. In terms of the team, the backline I think was all right. Obviously, for me, I think we were definitely missing Kira's long ball. I thought we was missing Kira's kind of leadership at the back. I feel like she can get back a bit faster than Mia. Obviously, Mia's an absolutely immense player, but I feel like Mia's better in that midfield deeper role. That's not me saying that she's not good at centre back, because I think she also had a good game as well. But yeah, obviously it is obviously frustrating. A point, obviously, as I said earlier, we will take. But yeah, obviously going into the second half, we was a bit like, what the hell needs to change? And obviously, as Cameron said, Karen making subs early, bringing Karen on for Maka, who had a dead leg that we found out after. I think that was a very, very good change. I think, as Cameron said again, Karen's ball control, hold up play is one of the best, and it's improved over the last 2 seasons as well, for me. And then obviously, as I say, going into the second half, we brought Emma and Jill on around the 55th minute. I thought it was needed. I thought Lucy had a good game as well. I thought Amelie had an alright game as well. I thought that they did their job. No one for me had a bad game at all. I thought everyone had overall a top performance. Obviously, the lead up to the goal, I'm not sure who played it in, but Kate Bradley gets the ball, gets fouled, and obviously as soon as you get fouled on the edge of the box, there's only one person to kind of call for that. She did it last season against Blackburn. I will put a clip probably after we're talking about this of Jodie's goal. It's obviously in the vlog yesterday as well. Absolutely insane. At first, I did think it was a bit too far out for me, but I mean, Jodie doing Jodie things. She absolutely whacked it into the side net. Keeper maybe could have done a bit better, but the power Jodie put in the shot, I think not many keepers are saving that. It was similar to the Blackpool one last year. Top bins as well. But yeah, I mean, from then, I thought we were the better side. I thought we deserved 3 points. Obviously, we had a lot of chances in the second half as well. But for me, the one weakness for me was corners. Our crossing today, I don't think was up to scratch at all. A lot hit the first player. A lot didn't even reach the net. It went out for a goal kick or a throw in. For me, that needs to be improved, especially with a big test of Birmingham coming up. I think Birmingham, as we know, They won 4-0 today. And they are, for me, one of the strongest sides in the league, as we saw last season. But yeah, what are your thoughts ahead of the whole performance and obviously the crossing and everything like that?
I think pretty much what you said. In general, I think we definitely didn't play badly. I think that with the squad that we have, I'd like to see more competition for spaces. And I'm going to say this delicately because she's a big favourite around here. Katie Bradley, for me, sometimes blends into the game and I forget that she's there. Now, take nothing away from the fact that, she's scored big penalties for us or, dug us out of games and has had some really, really good games. But there is the odd game, a bit like with Mel Phillips last season, where I just go, oh, hang on, where's Katie? And I'm, oh, hang on, no, she is here. But in the same breath, maybe that's because she's not able to play her game with the opposition that we've got or whatever it may be. I'd like to see us have quality from the bench that's able to challenge as well. But no, in general, no one had a poor game. We played all right. I don't think Sheff played particularly badly either, in fairness, just to mention the other team. They didn't sit there and wait to get rolled over, and they didn't particularly come at us with full throttle either. They were just kind of, it was a bit like just a game of tennis. It was just kind of there, and it is what it is. But no, I think going forward, obviously, look, we don't see what happens in training, and I spoke to coaches outside of football before. Dan, if you're watching, you're probably not, but if you are watching, I spoke to you in JD Sports, and you openly told us kind of how the selection works and who does well in training and whatever. I don't see how you can let's take the crossing for example from the corners. How can you hit the first? I called it before Katie even took the corner. I said, I guarantee you she's the first man, or woman in this case. And she did. She hit the first player. That's fine, whatever, but how can you very clearly be doing it fine in training and then not on the pitch? I don't know. Look, I'm not a professional football player, and it's never going to happen, but I don't understand how you can consistently hit the first player and then still be on the corner next time. But look, I'm not in charge. No, I don't. I wouldn't sit there and I didn't watch the game and think, oh, we really need to improve on X, Y, and Z. There was a couple little bits like empty crosses, or again like the final ball wasn't quite there. A note of Amelie. I love Amelie to bits, but I do feel like she's in a position where she's just got asked to run, and just run, and then at the 60th minute she'll come off. I would love to see her in a position where she's played for on goal or whatever, just to see what she's like as a striker. Because at the minute I don't really feel, well, she's obviously in that role, but she's not my number 9 finisher. So I'd love to see that change maybe a little bit. But again, look, I'm not in charge, and at the minute you don't fix what isn't broken, because it's working. We're undefeated and we've conceded 2 goals in 6 games, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Obviously, going into the last 15 sort of minutes, I thought we was the better side. As Cameron said, it was a bit of tennis, I'd say. They had a few chances, we had a few chances, but it just felt like every kind of corner was going to the back post. Obviously, their goal came from across from a corner to the back post, clear header. Could have defended better? Yes. Obviously, it was a bit poor from our point of view. However, as Cameron said, Sheff did play well for a side who did actually go down last season and have come back up. They've brought in some fairly alright players, in fairness. Obviously, one of ours, Sophia O'Rourke, who I thought had a great game, although that little dive near our subs bench, we won't talk about that. But obviously, they have recruited well. Obviously, Amy Andrews as well from Newcastle. I thought she was alright. Charlie Devlin as well, I thought was immense for them as well. But yeah, there's a few players in that team I thought they played well for them, and they were playing for a point from the last 10 minutes, I'd say. I think that they'll happily take a point. But in terms of us, for me, if we want to be challenging, if we want to be up there, we cannot be dropping points to a team, no disrespect, who are probably going to be further down the table for us. We have to be picking up points. We have to be getting the wins against teams like Sheffield United, Ipswich, who aren't bad teams, but if we want to make that step up, we have to be performing better, personally. Obviously, in the second half, we had a lot of chances, in fairness. Had a few crosses. I think one off the line from Gracie Pearce. Obviously, a header almost went in as well, which not bad. As I say, it's not ideal to obviously drop points, but as I said at the start, we are still top. We're still unbeaten. There's obviously positive to take. We now move on to next week. Obviously, is a Subway Cup game against Portsmouth. I'm expecting a lot of rotations. I don't expect 95% maybe of this team to be playing next week at all. Purely because we've got a humongous game against Birmingham the week. Oh no, 3 weeks after that, or something like that. I think which is going to be immense. Obviously, next week. What are you expecting?
You've got to be very careful with the length of time that we've got between these cup games, in the sense of, as much as I'd say you're probably right, we definitely won't go full strength. If you don't select a handful of players, so Mia, who's still technically recovering, and maybe like Emma, who's trying to get back into the squad and whatever, all these players are now going to go 4 weeks without a game, and they're just going to get a little bit rusty, get a little bit, do you know what I mean? So as much as it's only an extra week or an extra 30 minutes in the tank, you want to keep as many of these players loose as possible. So no, I don't think we'll go full strength at all against Pompey, but I do think that 70th minute we'll start to bring on a couple of first teamers. But again, that would just be on my opinion, do you know what I mean? I don't. In the same breath, I also think that we're just going to sit there and play our B team, or the best that we can of a B team, and let the game ride, because we're not really too bothered about the cup. But I think for player fitness, it would be smart to get a couple of first teamers in, just to keep them a bit loose, to be quite honest. Hello. I do think that we'll win against Pompey, to be honest. Obviously, there's a couple of ex-Charlton there. Yes. But I don't see us not winning against them, to be quite honest. I'm not too sure on the score prediction yet, obviously when lineups come out and whatever, and we'll probably get into that. But no, I don't see us losing to Pompey, to be quite honest. But again, it's a cup that the players have openly said we're not really too bothered about it with the league the way that it is, and where the foundation to go up is a lot better than it's ever been. We'd be silly to go, oh yes, let's focus on this cup that we're not going to get out of the group for, and eventually slip up, because I don't think we will finish third. I'm hoping for first or second. Yes. But worst case scenario, we finish third and then we go up on the playoff, probably against Liverpool at this point. I think it would be silly to throw it all away for a cup game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we can expect quite a few changes next week. I think we'll see a few debuts maybe. I think a lot of youngsters will play. Chime will probably play. Frankie will probably play. Zoe Barrett will probably play. Anna will probably start in goal. Lucia will probably start to get more minutes in the tank, because I thought she was right when she came on as well. Players like that, I think maybe, as you say, players like Emma, I think she might start the game just to get minutes in legs, maybe get 60. Kenny as well could get a few more minutes, because I think she's been such a good player for us so far, and it's sort of a player we've kind of picked out of thin air, if you like. I think she has been quality, and obviously I expect her to get quite a bit. I mean, it's next week maybe, and then obviously there's two or 3 weeks off, and as you say, you don't want to just not play everyone. You want to keep them ready, because obviously, as I say, Birmingham is going to be an absolute crazy game. But yeah, obviously next week against Portsmouth, I do expect to win. Obviously, I'm not going to take them too lightly, as Cameron said. They do have a few former Charlton players. Ella Rutherford being the main one. She's been absolutely quality for Portsmouth so far. just Gray being there, just quality for us in goal, and Greta Humphreys is also there on a permanent deal after leaving Chelsea. So I'm expecting them to not play their strong side because they're trying to, I guess, stay in the league as well. They're trying to compete, trying to move up the table a bit more. But yeah, on to Birmingham now. Obviously, that is our next league game. First against second, unbeaten Charlton against, I think, Birmingham. I've lost one game. For me, they're probably our biggest threat this season. I think we watched them last season and they were a lot more impressive, a lot more organised than London City personally. Obviously, it was a bit earlier in the season, but I just thought they were a bit stronger, and I feel like it will be between us and Birmingham for first and second. And probably early to say that, but I feel like we'll be up there. And I think next week will be a game to kind of picture where we are as a team at the moment, because obviously there's a lot of new players. I didn't know what to expect from this season, especially with the amount of changes that we've actually brought in, because obviously a lot of left. Beth Rowe left, Jess Gray left, Mel Phillips. A lot of big names left this club. Mary Bashford, Ellie Brazil, goal scorers, players who can play in that middle bit. Birmingham again have former Charlton players, Bex McKenna, Tegan McGowan, but then overall they've just got a very, very solid squad for this league, and they probably want to be out of this league as much as we do. But yeah, what are you expecting from the Birmingham game?
I was just sat here thinking about it while you were chatting away, and I think I've come to the conclusion that we'll actually lose. And no, I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
Because instantly my gut kind of tells me it's a game where, as you said, it's going to be quite an important one. When I think of Charlton, I don't feel like we're the team that's going to go out there and chase the game and, put ourselves on the front foot and go 2-3-0 up and then relax sort of thing. I feel like there's going to be a lot of feeling each other out and whatever. But when we did watch Birmingham last year or last season, they were more of a side that's going to go out there, grab the game and then deal with it from there. I mean, look, our defence has been solid and all the praise in the world for them, but should they get an early goal or a goal before we do, as much as we do play better, arguably better when we're behind, Birmingham are very organised, they're very solid. I mean, when we sat against London City, you watch them literally just move as a team across the pitch, no matter what direction they're going in. Should they come out and chase the game and grab it early doors, which I feel like they probably will, because they're not really. I mean, even when we played them at their place last season, they didn't sit and wait for us. They was coming for it. Yeah. So should they score early on, I don't think we've got it in the bag to deal with it. Not against Birmingham, and obviously today we came from behind, or yesterday, whenever this goes out. But, it is what it is. So, hopefully that doesn't happen. I would like to see us obviously win it and start to pull away and whatever. But there is that little bit of a niggle in my head going, I'm not sure about this one. Obviously, as you say, ex-Charlton players, Tegan getting minutes there. Obviously, Bex was the star. I assume her injury's all right now. But yeah, look, they move as a solid team, so it's. I'd agree with you saying that they're definitely our biggest competition. Hoping to win, but I'm also realistic in the sense of if they come for it and they get an early goal, I think they're far, far more organised than most of the teams in the league, and they'll hold on to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, they've been in the Championship probably far too long for their liking. They're probably expected to be up there pretty much every season, to be fair, and they have been. Obviously, it is obviously to two up this season with a possibility of a third. I think they'll be safe in the top two this year. I think it's about time they did go back up as well. But yeah, obviously it's going to be a very interesting game, to say the least. Obviously, we'll do score predictions when we're on the way there, because there will be a vlog for that as well. But yeah, it's going to be a very interesting game. As I say, it'll be a game of where I learn where we're at as a team as well. Because as I say, it's a lot of new players. We've got quite a few. There's something going over. Obviously, got a lot of new players. Got a lot of young players as well. I think people forget how young this team is. I think there's only one or two sort of in their late 20s really. Maybe going into that, it's a very, very young team. And I don't know. As Cameron said, I just don't. I feel like if Birmingham do go a goal ahead, they will just sit back. Obviously, we went up there last season and they were very, very organised. Obviously, it was a 0-0, but it was actually an entertaining 0-0. But yeah, they shut us down. They kind of stopped us from playing our game, and we had one of the best strikers in the league at that point as well. In terms of Eli Brazil, should have scored 2 chances at the end, but they locked it down for most of it. But yeah, that is obviously Birmingham. That is probably going to be it. You've probably heard us ramble for far too long. But thank you for watching. There'll be more. Cameron will probably appear a lot more in the vlogs as well, and obviously on here when we do more of the women's team. Make sure you do get down to the Valley and support the women's team. They do need your support. Obviously, this year is the year to go up. So make sure you do get down when you can. And yeah, any final words?
Tom supports Millwall.
I do not. But obviously, thank you for the support on this new show. I'm going to aim to do it every Monday. It'll be out. Obviously, next week we'll be going over Sheff Wednesday for the men, and obviously Portsmouth for the women in the Subway Cup. Obviously, we'll see what there is to talk about then. But yeah, thanks for watching. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We are so close now. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.